Hello, I'm Georg and welcome to the Guitar Show. In this video we will build a nice standard Telecaster, swamp ash, butterscotch, but with a little bit more visible wood grain and a nitro satin finish. We will use a Warmoth neck made out of quartersawn maple with a fatback profile, Earvana compensated nut, narrow and tall stainless steel frets, and azuroit dot inlays. And what most people don't know is that when the truss rod is still loose, the guitar neck is surprisingly flexible. We also have a set of Bareknuckle Piledriver pickups, Gotoh tuners, and a Harley Benton bridge with tiltable brass saddles for a more precise intonation. The body is still on its way, but let's start preparing the neck. The wood of the neck already has a finish on it, so all we have to do at the moment is to install the tuners. Here I'm aligning the tuners to center punch where I'm going to drill the screw holes. I'm pre-drilling the holes with a small drill first, and then I'm drilling the final holes as a second step. The holes for the tuners were slightly too big, so I added some wood paste to give them an extra tight fit. I thought this might be better than using glue, in case I ever need to replace one of the tuners. In the end I felt like polishing the frets a bit, but this is optional, they already come polished from the factory. The body is made of swamp ash, which means that we need to raise the grain with some water. This makes the hair of the wood stand out so we can sand it off for a smoother surface. Now I start mixing the wood dye. In this case I'm using distilled water with a powder called Keda dye. This first dye is a thin layer of black, most of which we will sand off. This is to bring out the natural wood figure a bit more, to give it more contrast. Next I'm mixing water with isopropyl to be the base for our main dye. It's mostly an amber pigment with some yellow added to it. Here you see me wiping on the first layer of the amber dye. I think applying the wood dye is usually the most fun part. After the front was dry, I flipped it around to dye the back also. And then I will sand some of it off again. Oh no, my hands! These colors are permanent! I wanted to make it a bit more yellow, so I was mixing another dye with only yellow pigment this time. And then, same story, I'm wiping it onto the front, sides and back. In the end I was sanding a little bit off again. Now it's time to apply 2 layers of Tru-Oil. Nothing could possibly go wrong. Now where's my Tru-Oil?
Yo, left it at the top of the
Wow, so funny. Alright, I'm using my fingers to rub in 2 layers of Tru-Oil. Usually you can't use Tru-Oil underneath a clear coat because it's gassing off even years after applying it, but we will use Nitrocellulose as the clear coat, and in that case the Tru-Oil underneath causes no issues. I'm also sealing the pickup cavities with Tru-Oil. This prevents moisture from entering the wood. The Tru-Oil came with this wax, so I put some on the chrome parts to see if it would keep them looking nice for longer. Here I'm soldering the treble bleed circuit for the volume part. I put the schematic in the bottom right corner. Also I'm using a 4-way switch, which adds a 4th position, putting the bridge and neck in series. Then it was time for some more drilling. And here I am spraying the Nitro Satin clear coat. At first I sprayed a mist coat and then 2 proper coats. 2 coats of clear was enough because it already had 2 layers of Tru-Oil as well. Also, because it's a satin finish, it required no sanding and polishing afterwards. When hammering in the string ferrules, I put some tape on the hammer to avoid scratches. For the shielding I was using shielding paint, which is a thick conductive paint. I prefer using that over copper foil. I bought the neck several years before the body, so as it turned out, the fit in the neck pocket was a bit loose. As a workaround, I applied some Tru-Oil on the sides of the neck pocket. Of course, that's not what Leo Fender would have done, so feel free to leave some angry comments. Here I'm connecting the pickup wires. And now I will test if the controls and pickup switch are working correctly. Everything was working fine, and I proceeded by attaching the neck. And we are already at the final step, putting on the strings and doing the setup. Also adding the string tree and the headstock decal. Alright, so the guitar is finished. So let's plug it into the orange. So let's review. When building a guitar, you never know how it will turn out, but with this one I'm actually surprised. It's much better than I thought it would be. Yeah, some thoughts about the pickups. I was worried that they're gonna be too hot, that the clean's gonna be weird and it's only good for distorted tones, but the cleans are completely fine. The rock tones are amazing. Also, I'm glad that I selected the 4-way selector switch for the Telecaster, which means you get this extra 4th position that puts both in series, and then it's a little bit thicker. It's still basically like the bridge alone, but some roundness to it. Also, never mind that. This is just because I will be traveling tomorrow and I'm gonna keep using those strings. The finish. I mean, I was guessing how much dye I would use when mixing that, but with the sanding in between and the multiple layers, I got it to look like the way I want it. This pretty much looks like Bruce Springsteen's Telecaster. Also, the satin finish is really comfortable on the arm. Alright, I set the amp a bit cleaner now. I will now go through all the pickups without talking. Alright, so I'll be taking this one with me, and I will need to practice a lot. Alright, here's a quick update before the video ends. So I played my new Tele exclusively for the past few months because I'm out here on the ocean, I'm working on a ship and I only bring one guitar with me. I noticed 3 things that I wanted to mention. Number 1, the thick neck. It adds some top heaviness to the guitar. Doesn't really bother me, but might be useful to somebody who wants to put together a Tele. Then the pickups, I want to take my Tele in a more traditional direction, so in the near future I will put in Seymour Duncan antiquities. And finally, the bridge. This is a Harley Benton vintage style bridge. It has those tiltable saddles. Setting the intonation was actually easier than I thought, and I think it sounds great. But the issue that I'm having is I had to tilt the E and the A saddle quite a bit, and now the low E string is usually shifting up the saddle. And this messes with the intonation or makes it go out of tune. So next time I'm changing strings, I will just carve in a small groove on the side of the saddle for the string to fall into, and this should prevent it from moving around. Other than that, I also played the guitar live at the show here on board. And at the end people were clapping, so this means the guitar is good. Yes, so I hope you had fun watching the video. Please subscribe, there will be new music soon. You can also help me out by leaving a like. In case you have any questions, feel free to comment. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.